My mom showed up at my house and said your brother needs your master bedroom after I had already let him crash on my couch. So I replied, he plays video games 16 hours a day. What he needs is a job. I've been living independently for the past 5 years. After graduating college, I worked my butt off at a tech startup, saved every penny I could, and finally bought my own house 2 years ago. It's nothing extravagant, a modest 3-bedroom colonial in a quiet suburb about 40 minutes from the city. But it's mine and I'm proud of it. The house has become my sanctuary. The master bedroom is my favorite part. It's spacious with vented ceilings, has its own bathroom with a soaking tub I use after long days, and French doors that open onto a small balcony overlooking the backyard. I spent months making it perfect, from the California king bed I saved up for to the reading nook I built by the window. 6 months ago, my mother, Linda 52F, called me with a request. My younger brother, Nathan 19M, was going through a difficult time after dropping out of college in his second semester. She said he needed a safe space to figure things out and asked if he could stay with me temporarily. She emphasized it would only be for a few months while he got back on his feet. I love my brother, despite our age gap. When I left for college, he was only 11, so we were never super close, but he's family. I agreed to let him stay in one of my guest rooms, the larger one actually. It's a nice space about 14 by 16 feet, with good natural light and its own closet. The bathroom is right across the hall. Nathan moved in with just a couple of suitcases and his gaming setup. The first few weeks were fine. He kept to himself, mostly playing games late into the night and sleeping until afternoon. I worked from home 3 days a week, so I'd occasionally see him shuffle to the kitchen for cereal or energy drinks. We'd exchange pleasantries, sometimes watch a movie together, but mostly lived separate lives under the same roof. I didn't charge him rent because Mom insisted he needed to focus on healing without financial pressure. I covered groceries, utilities, everything. I even added him to my streaming services and bought the snacks he liked. I figured it was temporary, and helping family is what you do. Last Tuesday, Mom came over for what I thought was a regular dinner visit. I made her favorite pot roast with those little potatoes she loves. Nathan joined us, which was rare. Everything seemed normal until dessert. When Mom cleared her throat in that way, that means she's about to say something significant. James, honey. I've been thinking about Nathan's situation. She began reaching over to pat Nathan's hand. And I believe we need to make some changes to really support his healing journey. I nodded, assuming she meant therapy or maybe going back to school. I was wrong. I think Nathan needs the master bedroom, she said as casually as if she were asking to pass the salt. He's going through such a difficult time, and that extra space would really help him heal and grow. The natural light, the privacy of the en-suite bathroom, the balcony for fresh air. It's exactly what he needs for his journey. I literally laughed. Good one, Mom. You almost had me there. Her face remained serious. I'm not joking, sweetheart. Your brother is struggling with some deep emotional issues, and environment plays such a crucial role in healing. You're established, successful, mature. You don't need all that space. But Nathan needs room to breathe, to create, to find himself. I looked at Nathan, expecting him to look as shocked as I felt. Instead, he was studying his dessert plate intently, not meeting my eyes. Mom, I said slowly, this is my house that I pay for. Nathan is already living here rent-free in a perfectly good room. James, she said, her voice taking on that disappointed tone I knew too well. I didn't raise you to be materialistic. This is your baby brother. He's struggling with depression, anxiety, and who knows what else. The guest room faces north. Do you know how that affects someone with seasonal affective disorder? The master bedroom faces east. He'd wake up with natural sunlight, which is proven to help with depression. Then I'll buy him a sun lamp. I said, still convinced this had to be some weird joke. That's not the same, and you know it, Mom continued. The en-suite bathroom would give him privacy during his vulnerable moments. The balcony would provide a connection to nature. The extra space would allow him to set up areas for meditation, yoga, art therapy. You have no idea what he's going through because he hasn't told me he's going through anything. I protested. Nathan, are you struggling? Do you need help? We can get you therapy, medication, whatever you need. Nathan finally looked up. I've been feeling kind of down. Mom jumped in before he could continue. See, he's too proud to admit how much he's suffering. That's why we as his family need to step up and provide what he needs without him having to beg for it. The conversation deteriorated from there. I firmly stated that nobody was switching rooms in my house. Mom accused me of being selfish, materialistic, and lacking empathy. She brought up how her friend Patricia's son gave up his entire condo to move back home and support his younger sister through her divorce. She mentioned my cousin Michael, who let his brother live in his house for 2 years rent-free and gave him the master suite. I'm already letting him live here rent-free. I pointed out I buy all his food, pay all the utilities. How is that not supportive? It's the bare minimum, she sniffed. And frankly, I'm disappointed. Your father would be heartbroken to see how you're treating your brother. Dad died when I was 21. Using his memory to guilt-trip me was a low blow, and she knew it. She left shortly after, but not before making sure to hug Nathan extra long and whisper loudly enough for me to hear, "Don't worry, sweetie, we'll figure something out. Some people just need time to develop compassion." That was a week ago. Since then, I've received daily texts with articles about toxic masculinity and compassionate housing, links to studies about the importance of natural light for mental health, a Facebook post that she makes sure I see about children who value possessions over people, 3 voicemails from aunts asking why I'm being so cruel to poor Nathan, an email from her pastor offering to counsel me on opening my heart to family in need. Nathan, meanwhile, has been acting weird. He suddenly started mentioning how small his room feels, how the morning sun coming through my bedroom would really help his sleep schedule, how nice it must be to have a private bathroom. These comments feel coached, especially since he never complained before. Yesterday morning, I overheard him on the phone with Mom. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop, but our walls aren't that thick. I heard him say, "I don't know, Mom. It feels weird to ask for his bedroom." "Yeah, I know you say I deserve it." "No, I haven't mentioned the art studio idea yet." Art studio. What art studio? I confronted him after the call. "Nathan, has Mom been pressuring you about the bedroom thing?" He wouldn't meet my eyes. "She just thinks it would help me." "You know, with everything I'm going through." "What exactly are you going through?" I pressed. "Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you're playing video games 16 hours a day and eating my food, which is fine. Your family, but I'm not seeing this mental health crisis that requires you to have the master bedroom of my house." He got defensive. "You wouldn't understand. You've always had everything easy. Good job. Nice house. No problems. Some of us struggle, James. Some of us need more support. I worked 60-hour weeks for 3 years to save for this house. I shot back. I lived in a studio apartment with 3 roommates and ate ramen for dinner most nights. Nothing about this was easy." Whatever he muttered, heading back to his room, his perfectly adequate rent-free room. I'm at a loss. Am I being unreasonable? Part of me wonders if I'm being insensitive to whatever Nathan might be dealing with, but the other part of me is screaming that this is insane. It's my house. I'm already supporting him completely. The guest room is nice. My friends think I'm being gaslit. My friend Sarah said her brother pulled something similar, claimed he needed her apartment because it was closer to his therapy appointments. She gave in, and 2 years later, she's still living with her parents while he's turned her place into a party pad. But Mom's guilt trips are getting to me. She keeps saying things like family means sacrifice. A real man provides for his family without keeping score. Your brother looks up to you, and you're showing him that material things matter more than people. I must have failed as a mother if this is how you treat your own brother. What would you do? Stand firm and risk being labeled the family villain, or give in to keep the peace? I genuinely don't know what's normal anymore. Update 1. 2 weeks later, my mother expects me to give up my master bedroom. It's getting worse. Thank you to everyone who responded to my original post. Your comments gave me the confidence to stand firm, but things have escalated in ways I never expected. After reading your advice, I sat down with Nathan for a serious conversation. I wanted to understand if he was genuinely struggling or if this was all Mom's manipulation. The conversation was illuminating. "Nathan," I began, "I want you to be honest with me. Are you really depressed? Do you actually want my bedroom, or is this all Mom's idea?" He squirmed in his seat. "I mean, I have been feeling down." "About what specifically?" I pressed. "Is it about dropping out? Do you miss your friends? Are you worried about your future?" "It's just everything," he said, vaguely. "Mom says I'm probably dealing with trauma from childhood that I don't even remember." "What trauma?" I asked, genuinely confused. "We had a pretty normal childhood. She says being the younger child is inherently traumatic. Something about not getting enough attention because you were the golden child." I stared at him. "Nathan, I left for college when you were 11. You had Mom and Dad's full attention for 8 years. How were you neglected?" He shrugged. "Mom has a lot of theories." That's when I realized how deep this went. Mom hadn't just been pushing the bedroom switch. She'd been filling Nathan's head with pseudo-psychological garbage to make him believe he was more damaged than he was. But the real shock came last weekend. I had to go to a conference on Saturday, just a day trip to the city for a work thing. I left at 7 a.m. and got back around 6 p.m. When I walked into my house, something felt off immediately. There was a candle burning in the living room lavender, which I'm allergic to and never buy. Music was playing from upstairs. Some meditation chakra stuff. I went upstairs to find my bedroom door open. Inside my room had been partially transformed. There were crystals on my nightstand, a Himalayan salt lamp on my dresser, and I kid you not, a dream catcher hanging from my ceiling fan. My bed had been moved to a different wall, and there was a yoga mat spread out where my reading chair used to be. But the worst part, Nathan was sitting on my bed with a sketch pad while Mom stood beside him with fabric samples. "What the fuck are you doing in my room?" I didn't mean to yell, but I was beyond angry. Mom turned with a smile, like nothing was wrong. "Oh, James, you're home early. We were just experimenting with some design ideas." Nathan has such a wonderful vision for this space. He wants to create different zones, a meditation corner, an art studio space, a reading nook. Isn't it exciting? Get up now. Nathan at least had the decency to look embarrassed. He scrambled off my bed, dropping his sketch pad. I saw the drawings, floor plans of my room with labels like Creative Expression Zone and Healing Alter Pace. "James, there's no need for hostility," Mom said calmly. "We were just visualizing possibilities." Nathan's therapist says visualization is a powerful tool for manifesting change. What therapist? I demanded. "Nathan doesn't have a therapist. His spiritual advisor," Mom corrected. "Miranda is wonderful. She does Reiki and chakra alignment too." Out. They left, but not before Mom made sure to say loudly enough for me to hear as she went down the stairs. This negativity is exactly why Nathan needs a sacred space away from toxic energy. I spent the next hour putting my room back to normal, throwing away the crystals and that horrible dream catcher. The fact that they'd been in my space, touching my things, moving my furniture without permission, made my skin crawl. That night, I installed a lock on my bedroom door. Nathan hasn't said a word to me since, just sulks around the house. But Mom went nuclear. The next day, she started a family group chat called Supporting Nathan's Journey. She included every aunt, uncle, cousin, and even my grandmother. Her opening message was a novel-length dissertation about Nathan's struggle with severe depression and artistic suppression and how I was blocking his healing by denying him adequate space for his therapeutic practices. The responses were mixed. "And Patricia James, is this true? You won't give up one room to help your brother heal." "Uncle Michael, Linda didn't. Nathan turned down that job I offered him at the hardware store." "Cousin Sarah, wait. Nathan's depressed. He seemed fine at Christmas." "Grandma, why does he need James's bedroom? What's wrong with the room he has?" Mom responded to each question with increasingly dramatic explanations. Nathan's depression was invisible, but devastating. His artistic soul was being crushed by the north-facing energy of his current room. He needed space to spread his healing wings. Then she started sharing photos. Photos of Nathan looking sad, clearly staged. Photos of the guest room that made it look smaller and darker than it is. She must have used weird angles and filters. Photos of inspiration boards for what Nathan could do with the master bedroom. My cousin Jennifer finally asked the question everyone was thinking. "Linda, why doesn't Nathan get a job in his own place if he needs specific space for his art?" Mom's response. "Jennifer, I'm disappointed in your lack of compassion. Nathan is an artist. He can't just work at some soul-crushing job. He needs support while he develops his gifts. James has been blessed with material success. The least he can do is share with his struggling brother." That's when I snapped and responded in the chat. "Let me clarify some things. 1. Nathan has been living in my house rent-free for 6 months. 2. I pay for all his food, utilities, and expenses. 3. He has not applied for a single job. 4. He has not looked into going back to school. 5. He has not seen an actual therapist or medical professional. 6. His art consists of doodles he does while playing video games. 7. The guest room is 14 by 16 feet with good light and its own closet. 8. This is my house that I pay for. If anyone else would like to give Nathan their master bedroom, please volunteer. Otherwise, this discussion is over." The chat exploded. Some family members sided with me. Others said I was being harsh. Mom private messaged me, "You've just shown everyone your true colors. Your selfishness is astounding. I'm coming over tomorrow to discuss this like adults." I responded, "You're no longer welcome in my home without an invitation. Do not come over." She showed up anyway. Update 2. 1 month later, my mother expects me to give up my master bedroom. The extinction burst. I need to update you all because the situation has reached levels of insanity I couldn't have imagined. After I told my mother she wasn't welcome without an invitation, she naturally showed up the very next day at 8 a.m., ringing the doorbell repeatedly. I didn't answer. She had a key, but I changed the locks after the bedroom invasion. She stood outside for 45 minutes, alternating between ringing the bell, knocking, and yelling through the door about family discussion and Nathan's needs. Nathan was still in bed, of course, but the doorbell eventually woke him. I watched from my bedroom window as he came downstairs and looked through the peephole. To his credit, he didn't open the door, just texted her that I wasn't answering. Her response, which he showed me later, "Then you need to make him understand. Your future depends on having proper space for your artistic development. Don't let your brother's selfishness ruin your life." That afternoon, while I was on a work call, Nathan knocked on my office door. I muted myself and let him in. "James?" He started looking uncomfortable. "I think Mom might be going a bit overboard with this whole thing. You think I said it's just she keeps sending me links about art therapy spaces and telling me I'm suppressing my creativity in that room, but honestly, the room is fine. I don't even really do art. I drew some anime characters once, and she acted like I was Picasso. Then tell her that I said I tried. She said I'm in denial about my own needs because I've been conditioned to accept less than I deserve." That's when I realized Nathan was as much a victim of Mom's manipulation as I was. He'd been swept up in her narrative and was now trapped between her expectations and reality. But the real explosion came the following week. I woke up one morning to 47 missed calls from various family members. My Facebook was blowing up. My phone was buzzing non-stop. Confused and slightly panicked, I opened the family group chat to find a message from Mom that made my blood run cold. Family emergency. I'm heartbroken to share that James has given Nathan an ultimatum. Either Nathan submits to being his living-in servant, cooking, cleaning, and maintaining the house in exchange for the small room, or he has to leave. Nathan is in tears. He feels so betrayed by his own brother. I'm looking into legal options, but in the meantime, we need to rally around Nathan and show him he's loved. I stared at my phone in shock. This was a complete fabrication. I'd never said anything remotely close to that. The responses were pouring in. "And Patricia James. How could you?" "Uncle Robert, this doesn't sound like James." "Cousin Mark, wait, what James is?" "This true?" "Grandma Linda, this seems extreme." "Have you talked to James?" I immediately responded, "This is a complete lie. I have never asked Nathan to be a servant. He lives here completely free. Mom is making this up because I won't give him my bedroom. Nathan, please confirm this is false." 20 minutes passed. Nathan didn't respond. I went to his room and knocked. No answer. I tried the handle. Locked. I called his phone straight to voicemail. Then Mom responded in the chat. "Of course you deny it. Nathan is too scared to contradict you. He's dependent on you for shelter, and you're exploiting that." I was furious. I started typing out a detailed response when my Uncle Michael called me directly. "James," he said, "I know your mom can be dramatic, but what's really going on?" I explained everything from the beginning. The bedroom request, the break-in, the redecorating, all of it. Uncle Michael listened, then sighed deeply. "Your mom's been having some issues," he said quietly. "Since your dad passed, she's been getting more intense. Last year, she tried to convince your Aunt Patricia to divorce her husband because she had a vision that he was wrong for her. The year before, she told your cousin Jennifer that her daughter was an indigo child who needed special schooling." "Why didn't anyone tell me this?" I asked. "We all just kind of dealt with our own situations, but this is the worst I've seen. Let me talk to Nathan." An hour later, Uncle Michael called back. "Found Nathan at the coffee shop downtown. He's been hiding there since yesterday because your mom won't stop calling him. He's actually terrified of her right now. She's been telling him that if he doesn't get your room, it means he's a failure as an artist and a person." "Jesus," I muttered. "I'm bringing him to my house for a few days. Kid needs a break from both of you." "No offense. None taken. I think that's best." That evening, Mom showed up again, this time with my Aunt Patricia in tow. They rang the bell for 20 minutes before I finally answered through the Ring doorbell speaker. "Mom, I told you you're not welcome here. James, open this door right now. Your aunt is here to mediate." "There's nothing to mediate. This is my house. Nathan is fine. Please leave." Aunt Patricia spoke up. "James, your mother is just worried about Nathan. Maybe if you could compromise. The compromise is that he lives here for free." I interrupted. "I'm done discussing this." They left, but not before Mom yelled loud enough for the entire neighborhood to hear, "You're destroying this family. Your father would be ashamed of what you've become. Nathan deserves better than a brother who values property over people." The next morning, I woke up to find that Mom had posted on Facebook tagging me and all our mutual friends. It breaks my heart to see how material success can corrupt someone's soul. My eldest son has chosen his fancy bedroom over his brother's mental health. Nathan is artistic sensitive and struggling, but instead of support, he faces cold rejection. I pray that James finds his compassion again before it's too late. Please keep Nathan in your thoughts as he navigates this betrayal. The comments were brutal. Some people who didn't know the whole story were calling me heartless. Others who knew Mom were more skeptical. My high school friend commented, "Linda, didn't you try to convince my mom to sell her house and move into a commune with you last year?" Mom deleted that comment immediately. Final update, 3 months later. The master bedroom saga, how it all ended. It's been 3 months since everything exploded, and I can finally share how this all resolved. Buckle up, because the ending none of us saw coming. After Nathan went to stay with Uncle Michael, things escalated quickly. Mom started showing up at my work telling the receptionist she had a family emergency. Security had to escort her out twice. She called my boss claiming I was having a mental breakdown and needed time off. Thankfully, my boss knew me well enough to recognize crazy when he heard it. The Facebook campaign intensified. Mom started a blog called When Children Forget Love, where she posted daily articles about toxic masculinity, the importance of supporting artistic souls, and how modern society corrupts family values. She used fake names, but anyone who knew us could tell it was about me. Then came the legal threats. Mom actually consulted a lawyer about tenants' rights, claiming that since Nathan had been living with me for 6 months, he had established residency, and I couldn't just force him into substandard accommodations. The lawyer apparently told her that Nathan having a free room didn't constitute substandard anything, and that she had no case. This didn't stop her from sending me a fake legal notice that she'd clearly made using some template she found online. It demanded I cease and desist the emotional abuse of denying adequate living space, and provide Nathan with accommodations befitting his needs as an artist and individual dealing with mental health challenges. I forwarded it to my lawyer friend, who couldn't stop laughing. "This is written in crayon," he said. Legal crayon, but still crayon. Meanwhile, Nathan was thriving at Uncle Michael's. Away from Mom's influence, he got a job at a local bookstore, started seeing an actual therapist, not a chakra-lining Reiki master, and even enrolled in community college for the spring semester. Uncle Michael later told me it was like watching someone wake up from a spell. The turning point came when Grandma finally had enough. She called a family meeting mandatory attendance. Even Nathan came looking healthier than I'd seen him in months. Mom showed up dressed all in black like she was attending a funeral. Grandma didn't mince words. "Linda, this stops now. You're destroying your family with these delusions." Mom tried to protest, but Grandma shut her down. "I've watched you manipulate, lie, and create drama for years. First it was Patricia's marriage, then Jennifer's daughter. Now this insanity with James and Nathan. You need help." Then Grandma dropped the bomb. "I've been documenting everything. The lies, the manipulation, the Facebook posts, the fake legal threats. If you don't stop this immediately and get professional help, I'm going to share it all with everyone. Your church, your book club, that charity board you're so proud of being on." Mom went pale. Her reputation meant everything to her. Nathan spoke up then. "Mom, I don't want James's room. I never did. You kept telling me I needed it, that I deserved it, that I was special and artistic and being held back. But you know what? I'm not an artist. I don't have seasonal depression. I was just a lazy 19-year-old who needed to get his together. And you enabled that because it gave you control." The room was silent. Then Nathan continued. "Living with Uncle Michael and actually working, going to therapy, taking responsibility. That's helped me more than any master bedroom ever could. James gave me a free place to stay, and you turned it into some weird psychological warfare. Mom tried one last manipulation. I just wanted what was best for my boys." "No," I finally spoke up. "You wanted control. You wanted to move into my house eventually, didn't you?" "Nathan, getting my room was just phase 1. The look on her face told me I'd hit the nail on the head. Aunt Patricia gasped. "Linda, is that true? Were you planning to move in with James?" Mom's mask finally slipped. "He has 3 bedrooms. I'm getting older. It makes sense for family to take care of each other, but no. He's too selfish, too attached to his precious house to help his own mother." Uncle Michael laughed bitterly. "Linda, you're 52, not 82. You have a job, an apartment, and you're perfectly healthy. You don't need to be taken care of." The meeting ended with an ultimatum from Grandma. Mom had to get therapy, real therapy, not alternative healing, or be cut off from the family. Mom stormed out, but not before screaming that we'd all regret this when she was gone. That was 2 months ago. Here's where everyone is now. Nathan is doing great, he's working part-time, going to school, and just got his own studio apartment with a roommate. We have dinner every Sunday, and our relationship is better than it's ever been. He even jokes about the bedroom thing now. "Hey James, Sweet master bedroom, mind if I store my bike in there? He's in therapy, dealing with years of mom's manipulation and punishment. Mom went no contact with everyone for about 3 weeks, then tried to come back like nothing happened. When that didn't work, she actually did start therapy, though. We're all skeptical about how honest she's being with her therapist. She's not allowed at my house, and I only communicate with her through emails that I keep documented. The extended family is split. Some think we were too harsh. Others are sharing their own stories of mom's manipulation over the years. Turns out she'd been pulling smaller versions of this for decades. We just never compared notes. As for me, I'm in therapy too, unpacking years of guilt trips and manipulation I'd normalized. My house is peaceful. My master bedroom remains my master bedroom. I installed a better security system and cameras just in case. The funny thing, Mom was right about one thing. The master bedroom does have great natural light. I wake up every morning in my bed in my room watching the sunrise through those French doors and feel nothing but gratitude that I stood my ground. To everyone who told me I wasn't crazy, who validated that this was insane, who encouraged me to hold firm, thank you. You helped me trust my instincts when family was trying to gaslight me into giving up my space and ultimately my autonomy. For anyone dealing with similar boundary-stomping relatives, no is a complete sentence. Your space is yours. Family that truly loves you won't try to manipulate you out of it. And sometimes the best thing you can do for someone is refuse to enable their delusions or the delusions of those who claim to speak for them. Edit. Since people are asking, yes, the lock is still on my bedroom door. Better safe than sorry. Final edit. Nathan texted me while I was writing this. Dude just saw Mom posted in her blog about how sometimes we must release toxic people to find our truth. The irony is amazing. We had a good laugh. He's coming over Sunday to help me repaint the guest room, the north-facing one. It gets perfectly adequate light.